Hi, I'm Rachel Daly, and this is my AEP 855 cumulative case study for educational leadership. This case study focuses in on two students, James and David. James is kind of a rough around the edges student, heavily tattooed, 15 years old, coming from the south side of the district. And David is an honor student, described to be kind of meek and small, 13 years old, honor student, plays in the band. And so this interaction happens between them. James bullies David into concealing a weapon for him. A teacher observes an exchange between the two of them, lets the principal know, and the two of them wind up in the principal's office. Let me explain a little bit more. So, in the principal's office, it is revealed that David is in possession of this weapon, but then it's soon after revealed that James bullied him. He made him conceal the weapon for him, and it's all James's fault. However, both are being penalized, both are being given the same consequence because of the school district's policy in regards to their zero tolerance for weapons at school. So James didn't actually end up beating up David as he threatened, but David's future now is kind of in jeopardy, is in harm. Discipline actions, the policy states that he'll be taken to a disciplinary facility, and he'll have to be expelled from school for no less than 45 days and be in an alternative education program. That's pretty familiar for James. That's happened to him a while, even though he's trying to kind of turn over a new leaf based on his relationship with his assistant principal. He's been working through just being better. And but for David, this is absolutely brand new, and his mother is devastated. So the main idea is, how can Principal Inman ethically abide by the district policies given the unique situation where David is innocent and was these actions were placed upon him, and how can he show fairness to all stakeholders? So let's break down what are the facts. The people involved are Principal Inman. He is their assistant principal, but he is only a first-year administrator. He seems to have relationship building strengths, able to build relationships with James and his group of friends. So he's got experience, but he's a first-year administrator, first-year leader. James is our 15-year-old male student. He's said to be pretty muscular, heavily tattooed. He's coming from the south side of town, which is known to be an area of rough individuals. There's reference to James previously getting into fights, but now he's making changes and hasn't gotten into a fight in a while. David is the 13-year-old student. He's smaller, meek, honor student, member of the school band. And then there's a school resource officer. He is a follower of the rules. He's an enforcer of the rules, who is taking David and James into custody as they are both in possession, or have been in possession, of a weapon during school time. James's mom is another person involved in this case study. She's been notified, and she's not really surprised by the situation, as James has had similar issues in the past, and she's hopeful that this time he'll finally learn his lesson by actually going away, being a part of this alternate education program. David's mom, she's devastated. She's just distraught by what has happened, and she's angry over the policy and how her son is innocent but still being punished. And then James's fifth grade teacher, she was the one who saw an interaction happen, and she's the one who contacted the principal to let him know what happened. So this is taking place at Rocket Junior High School, and it's a school of approximately 900 students. That's a lot. The principal had stated that he didn't really have a whole lot of contact with David, as he's one of those students who's just doing what he needs to do and Typically, administrators don't have a lot of contact with them as they don't need as much of that one-on-one guidance and nurturing as a student like James does. And another location is the south side of town that's referenced, this kind of more rough around the edges type of population. The programs involved are, again, the junior high school and then this alternative education program. So reviewing the information, the principal needs to make the decision to whether he is going to abide by the district policy or not. Abiding by the district policy would be writing David expulsion papers as well, in addition to James, and Principal Inman just doesn't feel like that's right to do because he knows that David is innocent. He knows that James is telling the truth. He knows that James is trying to turn over a new leaf, and so he's really grappling with what decision to make. I said here that the decision to abide by this district policy, to discipline David in the same way that they're disciplining James. When James bullied the student, James was the one who brought the weapon to school. If the discipline happens to both of them in the same way, it would be really detrimental to David's future educational goals and really tarnish his record when he previously hasn't done anything like this. So Principal Inman really needs to make the right decision. Does he discipline them both? And I think something that needs to be taken into account is James' friend group and the relationship that Principal Inman has been developing with James, their leader, and how that's going to affect the friend group. Will they see the difference in discipline as disrespectful, as an issue of classism, of class discrimination of sorts? That idea really needs to be taken into account of how his actions impact others. And then, at the same time, Principal Inman it's only been stated that he's consulted with the police officer and the director of secondary education. It's not known right now if he's, as an assistant principal, he has also been in contact with his principal about what has taken place. So here's some possible consequences, some possible outcomes of what could take place. The first is he makes no further action. He chooses to do nothing, to not rip up David's papers. He chooses to do nothing and simply abide by the district policy. The policy will be upheld, and he's following protocol, and protocol's there for a reason, but it's really putting David at a disadvantage. And we want the outcome to be beneficial to all students. So that's the first possibility. The second possibility is choosing to fight for the rights of his students. Principal Inman can fight for what he believes is right and fight for David's innocence to be considered so that he doesn't have to be expelled. And then the third option is coming up with some sort of compromise and bringing the issue to someone higher up, his Board of Education, his district administrators, to show them the holes in this policy and to possibly construct together a new policy that could handle situations like this. So with Principal Inman not taking action, this is super detrimental to David. This is possibly even detrimental to James. I really thought about the idea of corrective and relational discipline. If we're just sending James away to the alternative education plan, he's really not getting what he needs in that relationship with Principal Inman that has brought about the change in behaviors. So choosing to not take action would not only be detrimental to David, but it could be detrimental to James' development as well. Choosing to fight Principal Inman would be showing his advocacy and modeling that ethical behavior to the onlookers, to especially James' friend group, who is watching what's taking place as well. But then the compromise would invite that ability to analyze and dissect, and really have an open dialogue about this ethical issue. So the best option that I see fit is a compromise. The compromise would be Principal Inman taking the idea to his district administrators, and trying to come up with an alternative plan, something that helps in future situations, because this may be the case, because ethical issues are often gray issues, and this will come up again or something like it. I believe if Principal Inman is going to advocate for David to not be expelled, he should also be advocating for James, and the progress that James has made to tell the truth, to fess up, in addition to advocating for James to have just different disciplinary procedures if this has been something he's been accustomed to because of his past behaviors, and it still hasn't completely changed it. The discipline isn't working, and so something else should happen. It's important for that relationship building that Principal Inman advocate for both of the students. So with the implementation of this decision, if a policy change does indeed take place, it's important that community members, that stakeholders are aware of what this policy change means, especially because David's mom didn't even realize about the zero tolerance policy. It's important that community members are informed and understand what's going on. So who should be involved? I think a team, including the building administration at Principal Inman's building, in addition to the Board of Education members. With advocating for James's corrective discipline options, I think that really does encompass the idea of warn, don't threaten. He made a good choice. He made the choice to be honest when confronted with the situation in the principal's office. He was honest, and while discipline needs to occur, I think Principal Inman and other administrators need to really hone in on those changes that James is making, and acknowledge those changes through possibly different discipline. And then what will happen if my chosen plan doesn't work? This is something that I would definitely do. I would fall on the sword for my students. I would take the letter of reprimand in my file, because I think it's right to make sure that David isn't suffering the harsh consequences of this situation. As again, this was put onto him. So if I were him, I would say, I'm sorry, Director of Secondary Education, I'm not going to write the letter of expulsion, and put that letter in my file. I would feel confident enough to explain that letter of reprimand to any future employer, any future situation. So I really appreciated this case study to be able to kind of apply the decision-making skills that we've cultivated through this educational leadership course. And I think it's super relevant, as many ethical issues are super gray like this one, and we need that practice of determining, okay, where do I stand? And again, bringing it back to that moral compass of what are those characteristics on the top north pointing section of my compass. And so this assignment did just that, enforced what do I stand for, and gave me the opportunity to apply the skills I've been learning through this course. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed my analysis of this case study. Bye.